What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Business of Strength. In this episode, Dan and I are going to discuss our 2018 preview. We're going to talk a little bit about what went wrong in 2017, what went right, and what we're doing to move forward for 2018, setting rocks and setting the stage for a killer new year. This episode will give you some insight into the main objectives we think every gym owner and strength entrepreneur should be looking towards for 2018. As always, if you'd like to attend a Business of Strength mentorship, go to strengthentrepreneurs.com and check us out. You could also listen to our podcast here on iTunes. Give us a 5-star review. We'd greatly appreciate it. To connect with Dan and I, you can check us out on Instagram. Okay? And as always, this episode is brought to you by the Varsity House Gym, a world leader in strength and conditioning. For more information on our programs, go to varsityhousegym.com.
Welcome to the Business of Strength, powered by Varsity House Gym, the podcast for strength entrepreneurs.
All right, everybody. So this is our first podcast for 2018, and we're really just going to try and keep it short and sweet and get right to the nuts and bolts of how to crush a killer year and some of the things that we're doing literally this week, starting today, and moving forward for the rest of the week to set us up for a killer 2018. So first, Dan and I want to just talk about a little bit about some of the things that happened in 2017. And because I know when I talk to a lot of business owners and strength entrepreneurs, and just as recently, Dan, it's like our last Business of Strength in London, a lot of people are either fixated on what they're doing badly, and they just keep going over it and over and over and over it, and they can't move forward, or they're literally, they're so deep in it that they're not planning anything. They're not analyzing what they did. They're not looking forward to new stuff, and they're literally just training people all day, every day, and there's no real plan in sight. So, I think like if we look back and, obviously I'm going to give you the bad first, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly. In 2017, I think we did an amazing job, and I would say we hit a bunch of home runs, couple triples, couple doubles, and a lot of singles, but we struck out on a few things. And it's important to be able to look back and just kind of, be realistic as to, what you can do to fix those things and move forward. Big deal. We got a great team, we got a great gym, we got a great business. And if you screw up a couple things here and there, it's not the end of the world. Take a deep breath, fix it, analyze it, and move on to something else. So I would say here's 3 things that we could have done better in 2018. Scheduling. I think, our guys just do too much, and the coaches and Dan and I especially, and I know I speak for you too, Trev, is we just take on way too many projects. And I know, I got 14, things on the to-do list, 20 things in my own rock review, 5 major gym projects and, everything else. And then the coaches from the coaching staff, they just take on, way too many sessions, way too many, clients who, maybe I got to come in early and train. I got to do this. I got to do that.
Look, this business is a client-first business.
Sure.
And if you want to hang your hat on customer service, which that's our major rock. That's
Sure.
what we're known for is customer service. You want to say yes to people, but at the same time, when you break out time, let's just say like today, Tuesday from 1 to 4 o'clock, could we be training people? Absolutely.
Sure.
But when I look at the schedule and I have a client that says, hey, you know what? I'm available to train 1 o'clock Tuesday. This is as important as a training hour. And I think a lot of strength entrepreneurs get in a habit of just saying yes to everybody else and not respecting their own time within reason at least.
Yeah, I mean, I can make whatever you charge, let's call it $50 to $150 an hour, depending on where your market is, for a private training session. And hey, I can bang out $75 real quick. And, if I do 2 sessions, that's $150. If I do that every single week, right, that's $600 a month. Well, I would say that if you spent, if you spent 2 hours on a Tuesday working on your business, you could probably make $6,000 a month.
Right.
I
I said to you before the podcast started, we were talking to Trevor and Joe before we started here, and obviously we knew what we were going to talk about today as issues that arose in 2017, what we did wrong. But with the scheduling issues, it's like if we have a coach, for instance, that's training, let's say 30 to 40 people per week or classes per week, and that's what they want to do, they still need to find the time for 10 to 15 administrative hours per week to work on creative processes if they want to move their needle forward. Like, what's going to be the difference from 2017 to 2018 if we took, for example, he's a bad example, but say Adam, and all he did was train the same people, the same amount of hours per week with the same amount of people in his groups. What's going to change? Like, how is he going to grow as a coach here at Varsity House Gym? He wouldn't be able to. He wouldn't be able to make the impact that I know he's willing to make. And obviously Adam's here, and he finds the time. He's here on Saturday afternoons working on administrative processes. He's here late, so he's finding the time to make that impact. And he's young. He's hungry, humble, and committed to excellence. But you got to find the time, whether you're working 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours on training sessions. Well, then you just still have to find those 10 to 15 to make an impact with the business processes.
Yeah, so I mean, from the business owner's standpoint, if I have let's say, Dan and I, let's say fuel the majority of the sales that come in here and the new clients and the connections that come from outside the gym come in here. So if you got a coach and he's doing his 40 session hours, and that includes privates and groups and things like that, whatever it is, and it's year after year after year, how do you continue to monetize him so he can make more money? Like what is the determining factor in that person making more money? How do they do they just keep trying to add one or two people to their groups? Well, what if the groups are capped at 20 people and all of a sudden they're all full? It's like
what
at
about
some
if
point
you're at a gym that's capped?
Yeah, that's what I mean. At some point you come to an end in client serviceability. So, we look for coaches, and I know we speak to a lot of people about this, is that I look for creativity. I look for coaches who can write, lead, inspire, and think of themselves as management material. And in a case like Big Mike, he's our head strength and conditioning coach. He runs all the strength and conditioning back end. He runs all the in sessions. He monitors and tracks all the private training, group training. He meets with all the coaches. Adam's our head of operations. Adam monetizes the entire front desk and runs basically all the front desk sales and front desk processes. So that ties him to a money stream.
Right. Let me just add to that. I think a lot of people I know from the last Business of Strength too had asked about Big Mike. Oh, well, he's the head of strength and conditioning. Well, what do you guys do? And what does his title of head of strength and conditioning mean? I know you just covered it well, but Big Mike's responsibility for 2018 and moving forward, and has been, is his ability to take a junior level coach and bring them up to speed to be a master's level coach. And that's where the majority of his time is spent, to make sure that the JCs of the world, the Rodneys of the world that are here at Varsity House, that they're the next wave of great, awesome, top level management material coaches here at Varsity House Gym. So doing the in sessions, it's weekly. Doing his bi-weekly trainers only meeting to talk about what makes Big Mike so great at being a strength coach. He needs to give that knowledge onto the next wave of coaches that we have here at Varsity House, and that's a huge part of his deal here.
So all of that stems from the ability to schedule time, and leaving on that. For 2018, one of the things we did is we had all of our coaches detail outline their entire week and create what we're calling the ideal week schedule. And that schedule included time for training, time for admin work, time for meetings and such, as well as training. And when you put a meeting block in there, let's say a Wednesday morning at 10 a.m., right? That meeting block stays there, and that's it. So sessions do not get booked during that time. So that becomes a habit. So, hey, every Wednesday or every other Wednesday at 10 a.m., Mike meets with the coaching staff, and that's it. So that's scheduling. That's one of the things that we got to get better at for 2018. Next thing that went wrong in 2017 was I think we missed the boat for the end of summer. So just to make this quick, here at Varsity House, the majority of our summer is filled up with athletes, a lot of the adults in this area. We have a lot of teachers here. We have a lot of people who go away on vacation and such. So the adult community drops off a little bit in the summertime, and we get a huge flood of athletes, getting ready for their respective sports seasons. And they all wind up leaving around the middle of August. And I think, consistently we've gotten better and better and better. but we always die out a little bit from August 15th to about September 15th. And you know, even though every year we've said, like, you know, we have to have some processes in place, we have to have some cool products and services in place for August, we have yet to do that. And again, this past summer, you know, last 2 weeks of summer, it's like a ghost town in here. And, you know, and luckily we have a business that can handle that. And we have the revenue and the processes that go on the rest of the year to handle that. But a small gym, you know, if you're a startup and you're crickets for, you know, 2 to 4 weeks, you might be out of business.
I mean, that happened to us, you know, in the beginning when we were predominantly, I mean, not just athletes, but predominantly all fall athletes, and they would all leave. I mean, I remember our first 2 years in business, we had coaches that we had to retract their hours for 4 weeks. And then it's like, all right, like they were still involved, but it was like, hey, you know, we have to cut your hours down. And we're talking about, even then they were salaried employees. Yeah. So to have to do that sucks, you know?
Yeah, I remember it's
a real morale killer.
Me and Dan would be like chewing our fingernails off coming into the end of August.
And we had been busy.
Yeah.
But you just get used to the revenue that, you know, that's created, and then it goes from, you know, whatever it is to nearly zero. It's, you know, it's tough for any business to absorb.
If you see in your yearly forecast that there is a slow time, and for a lot of regular general population gyms, that's going into the holidays, so that's like November, December, right? Well, then make sure you set up some processes, services, sales, you know, and some front end offers that attract people to your gym during that time, so you can keep the ball rolling. So that's something we have to do better for 2018. We're gonna have some cool new programs and make sure we set up our marketing calendar specifically to start some sales and some sales processes around that slow time. And last but not least, what went wrong for 2017, or at least this is the last thing we're going to talk about. I'm sure there was more things.
There was plenty of shit. We struck out on a lot of things.
You know, but I would say the Black Friday, New Year, New You dumpster fire. You know, me and Dan were so mad at ourselves for getting caught up in running a Black Friday sale and the usual New Year, New You bullshit that goes on in the industry. And I just said, you know, and I could see what Dan's got written down on his paper, but that's just so not us. We've always been innovators, and we've always been leaders in the field, and we've always our whole mantra was founded on wanting to be something completely different from what the industry was, and then we found ourselves kind of sliding into the same pile of decay.
We inside the gym, we would always offer, you know, it was just something fun at the front desk. We would offer 25% off clothing or supplements. It was always done in-house, and that was it. It wasn't a big deal. Then, you know, honestly, you know, we caved to the social pressure of seeing everybody do something. And there was a couple of people that asked, and it was like, what are you guys going to offer? And I remember, you know, Joe and I hemming and hawing about it, like, should we do something? Should we not do something? And when we decided what we were doing, it wasn't like full-fledged. It wasn't like, hey, burn the ships, we're doing this all the way. It was like, this kind of sucks, but let's do it. You know,
right. and you know how many we sold?
Zero.
So nothing. So
it was and it was a pretty good offer, but I just think that there was the conviction from you and I to our group.
There was no passion behind it.
It was just like, wow, this is bullshit. And you know, our community probably thought of it as bullshit, and I'm even embarrassed that we're putting it out on the airwaves that we even tried doing that, because it's something that we'll never do again.
And so, you know, and New Year, New You. Now I believe that the New Year is a great time for gyms to capitalize on people wanting to set new goals and get themselves going again for the new year. However, buyer beware. You don't want to sell, you know, yourself short and offer some, you know, Groupon discount, you know, $29.99 a month. Again, you get what you pay for, and you know, the more they pay attention. If you put out a free month or a $29.99 a month unlimited membership for the months of January, February, or something like that, you're going to get people who are they're looking for that price. And then when you tell them, hey, you know, the regular membership is $150 a month, they would, you know, why the hell would I pay that?
Yeah.
So you basically wait, you know, you might get a couple bucks, but you devalue yourself. And in my eyes, you just waste a lot of time on people who are not going to buy into your product anyway. And you could have been spending more time on people that are going to fit your ideal client and your model.
Real quick with that, you know, we're just talking to somebody from the last Business of Strength where, he did something like that, and he generated 40 leads. 40 leads is a lot of leads. But the issue is that he was spending all of his time on sales calls and success sessions for people that ended up, I mean, out of 40, I think he converted 5. That's a terrible conversion rate. Shit, I'd rather get, 8 leads and convert 8 of 8 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Because it takes a lot of time to process and mold a lead into what you want them to do in your space.
Yeah.
It's 40. Can you imagine if 40 people walked in here today and wanted to train? We're well conditioned for that. And if 40 different people just showed up throughout the day today,
it'd be a shit show.
It'd be a shit show. Yeah.
So, that's going to be a big part of what we talk about going forward for 2018. So what went right? What did we do right? What are some of the things that I think were really killer for 2017? I would say our advisory board. Our advisory board planning has really changed the culture of our gym. It's gotten everybody on the same page. We have a clearly defined vision traction organizer for every single quarter. We have a quarterly off-site meeting. We're just about to come around the corner this week. We have our yearly meeting Friday and Saturday, so 2 days off-site where we'll just literally lock ourselves in a room for 2 days and break down every single barrier in the gym, from the front desk processes to the training to how we monetize coaches, and you name it, from soup to nuts. We're going to look at everything. What can we fix? What can we improve? What can we cut? What can we add? And move forward. So the advisory board planning and just setting up a really well-defined meeting schedule, getting everybody on the same page, letting everybody in the gym know exactly what we're trying to focus on, what we want to do, what we're working on, and what the big picture item for each quarter or so is, has been a real game changer for the gym. In terms of how does that monetize, it's definitely increased revenue, but I think it's helped everybody. We're always all doing a lot, but I never feel like I don't know what we're doing. Like, I always feel like I know that, hey, I could always look up on the board and I see there's 4 or 5 things that we're working towards. Well, did we hit that? Did we hit that? And if not, let's work on it and move towards it. And that's one of the beauties of meeting as a group and giving people a voice. If you're not having, I know I got about 6 emails from people from our last Business Strength about, we just had our first advisory board meeting. It was magical. And if you're not meeting on a regular basis, you're not running a business. You're not working. There's no way that anybody's going to know exactly what they're supposed to do every single week, every month, from year to year to year. It's just impossible. Second thing that went right was the Business of Strength. And everybody from the podcast, all the people that listen to the seminars, it was a huge hit. And Dan and I are incredibly humbled from the response that we've had. And we're looking to make it even better all the time. We've made a ton of amazing changes to it. I think the last seminar was by far the best one we've done, and it gets better every single time we do it, because I think Dan and I, as a dynamic duo, right, get better at presenting our information, and also just the material that we give and the stuff that we give out, it has gotten better, and we're getting more and more done for you products and things like that, and it's been truly rewarding to me to be able to have an impact in somebody else's business. Yeah. It's great training people. Whatever. I train people for 20-something years now, so and I've had a huge impact, and I still love to train, and that's a huge part of that. That is the basis of everything we do. But to be able to talk to a business owner who's suffering on the inside because they're working their ass off and they don't see any light at the end of the tunnel, and they're kind of stuck and they've hit the ceiling, if you will, to be able to give them a couple small changes and ideas that maybe me and you take for granted, and it transforms not only their business but their lives personally. That's been really awesome.
Yeah, and I think too, with the Business of Strength, obviously the gratitude is thanks to everybody that listens to this podcast and people that have come for the seminar and people that have emailed us. I mean, it's truly humbling. But, once upon a time, Joe and I decided, like, hey, we're going to do a seminar series. These are the questions that everybody's asking us. Let's roll the dice. Let's put this thing together, and let's just freaking do it. We were talking about it for a while, and 2017 was the first time we said, let's put the dates out there. Let's, in a sense, put our necks out there to see if this sells. We had no idea. We had a lot of people asking, but there's a big difference between asking and actually showing up for something. And you guys showed up for that, and for that we thank you.
I was scared as shitless when we did the first one. I was like, you know, the first time you got to put yourself out there to other peers, it's like, you know, I know we're doing okay, and I know we're running a great business, but it's like, and all of a sudden I'm going to teach a system that we've used, and I'm like, maybe they think we're a bunch of freaking assholes. I think we're still like, are we, you know, maybe we really don't know shit, you know. So, but the response was great. Maybe we do know a little bit, and we're really excited to be able to pass on some of that experience.
I think the people in the UK only came to listen to the Jersey accents and to hear about the chronicles of us pub crawling.
Oh my God!
It was Trevor's birthday when we were there,
birthday.
so
Oh,
it was
man.
really a good time.
Oh, good Lord. Good. I wish we can get the public access video of Trevor getting unleashed on Piccadilly Surface.
Public enemy
Number one. So how do we set the stage for a killer year? Number one, you got to have a year-end meeting, right? You got to meet with your staff, your advisory board, or your staff members, whoever's involved, your partners, and get out of your space for 1 to 2 days and break everything down. Start with, you know, the backbone of your business. Let's talk about HR. Let's talk about scheduling. Let's talk about sales and marketing processes. Let's talk about the product. What are we doing training-wise? Our class schedule. What class offerings do we have? Anything and everything that you could think of. Put it up on a big whiteboard. Brainstorm it. Break it down. Talk about it. Is it good? Do we keep it? Do we love it? You know what I mean? Do we want it? Do we get rid of it? And that's really it, you know, and that's really all it comes down to. Is it working? Is it making money? Is it something we love to do? And is it worth keeping around? And you look at every single process like that and you analyze it. And if when you put something on the board and you look out at your crew and everybody's like, cross that shit off and get rid of it, you know, because again, most people, it's like being in a bad relationship, right? You stay in it way too long, and you don't realize how much it was hurting you and everybody else around you until you cut it, and then your best friend's like, yo, dude, that girl was terrible. Why didn't you get rid of her? And you're like, why didn't you tell me, man? You know what I mean? It's the same thing with processes in business. You know, maybe you have a class that's a dud, right? And it's just like, you know, there's 4 or 5 people that come, and they've been coming for a long time, so you feel guilty about getting rid of the class, and you're like, man, and I'm, you know, I know we're doing this, so it's like, man, like maybe we should get rid of it, but we don't do it. And then the next thing you know, 3-4 years goes by, and there's 2 to 3 hours a week that you're just stuck doing this damn thing that's barely making any money and not moving the needle and not really allowing you to impact people. So year-end meeting is critical. We're having ours this Friday and Saturday. Dan, myself, Trevor, Big Mike, Adam, and Sean and Simone and a couple of the other guys will be coming on Saturday, and we're going to have an awesome meeting. We're going to go through our processes. We're going to have you know, a nice dinner, and we're going to, you know, have some fun time too, and we're going to get everything out on the table for 2018, and we're going to build out a new year. The next thing we do for 2018 is setting up your VTO, your Vision Traction Organizer. So after our team meetings, I'll take all the things that we talk about and I'll organize them into our quarterly VTO. So I'll set up the big objectives. Dan will break that down into specific numbers. So, you know, if the big objective is to, you know, increase revenue by $200,000, you know, whatever, do $50,000 in online sales, blah, 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 whatever it might be. He'll backtrack that down and break that down to a monthly figure that we could easily look at. So it's like, hey, all right, to get $200,000 in sales, we need 50 new clients, and we have to increase the private training average by 15 sessions a week, and that'll get you to the number, whatever it might be. So, and we'll break that down. Once we have those set, once you have your vision organizer set for quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, once you have those set, then it just becomes execution. And then it just becomes a process of following, you know, the plan. And hey, you got 3 months to get these processes done. So whatever it is, if you're still a new business, like a lot of the people in the UK were, and it's like basic stuff like creating a employee handbook, you got 3 months to get that shit done. Figure it out, get it done, assign somebody to it, and get it done. And that's the real key. And last is, you know, I have here is rocks, and so one of the things that I think people, and we were guilty of this in the beginning, was confusing rocks for issues and issues for rocks, right? Ordering toilet paper is not a rock, okay? Painting the lines on the turf is not a rock. Those are issues. Those are just day-to-day BS that have to get done, okay? You know, redoing and restructuring your onboarding process, that's a rock. Hiring a new coach, that's a rock, right? Restructuring your front desk process, adding an admin, that's a rock. So making a list of issues and then picking out the rocks that you need to prioritize is one of the key things that I think we've done pretty well in the last 2 or 3 years. And that's, again, the issue list could be 50 things. I mean, I'm looking over here on the board. There's 20-something things on the board. Now, most of them are crossed off. We've done them all, but some of them aren't, right? And we'll just recycle those. But, like, out of everything that's on that issues list, there are no rocks up there. And so we have to set all the new rocks for 2018, right? And that brings us to our last thing here is, what are the big rocks, and what do we think that all strength entrepreneurs could be working towards in 2018? So if you're uncertain and you don't know where to start, I always say start with yourselves. Start with the backbone. Create structure within your company. Set up meeting schedules. Create an accountability chart that clearly defines everybody's roles, responsibilities, and duties. And create some structure within the business. But once you have that, it becomes about driving revenue and doing things that make you happy. So here's our 3 big rocks in 2018, and me and Dan will break them down a little bit. Number 1 is referrals. We have to completely revamp our referral process from top to bottom. Number 2 is niching towards higher-end services. We're tired of giving away low-end services, and we've done a lot with front-end offers, and we teach a lot of our gym owners and strength entrepreneurs in the business of strength about offering front-end offers and low-barrier offers to get people in the door. And although that is an absolute necessary tool and very important for smaller gyms and newer gyms to get their classes and clientele numbers up, for us at the higher end of business, we want to move towards more high-end services. So niching towards higher-end services and taking some of the current existing clientele and then funneling them into some more, let's call them concierge-like services. And then last but not least is becoming a go-to educational destination. We have spent the last 5 years traveling all around the world, learning from some of the best people in the industry in all facets, from business to training. And we're going to start producing seminar series and in-sessions here that we're going to film and put out to the world so you can see how we're running our training, what we're doing business-wise. So when I'm down at the front desk, maybe coaching a sales meeting, right, we're going to film it, we're going to cut it up, and we're going to put it out for you guys to look at so you can see exactly what we're doing. And same thing with like our in-sessions, our training in-sessions. Big Mike and the crew are going to create a whole series of in-sessions that are basically how we teach our coaches how to coach. So those are our huge rocks. Dan, if you want to just talk a little bit about referrals, maybe about like with the athletes and what we're trying to do there and some of the things.
With referrals, quickly, obviously we've talked about this before. Just to give you a quick example, so this upcoming Saturday, I'm going to go meet with a boxing coach. I want to start taking a boxing lesson once a week just because I feel like I need to get my ass kicked by a coach and get some training done by another coach. If I really like what's happening there and he makes the process for me to refer a friend seamless, I mean, how easy.
I'll probably be there.
Exactly. Exactly. I'll probably have 3 to 5 people there within the week. And if I'm thinking about that and you really break down, like if Trevor tells me about a good restaurant, like I don't even need to go online and figure it out. Like it's just, hey man, this restaurant in New Milford's awesome. You got to go check it out. Okay, no problem. Done.
Temper
Where is
in
it?
London.
Exactly. Like, so we really have to focus. We've always just been like word of mouth here, like referrals, like, the community builds upon itself. And there's a little bit of a disconnect between the athletes that we train and training their parents because there's no real seamless process. Their parents come in and they're like, so do you guys train adults too? And, that process could just be so much easier simply as it could be a letter home to every parent. That's something that we've never done. So, we're going to spend a lot more time. And obviously this Friday and Saturday, we're going to build out that referral process. So it is a process that it's not just, Joe being like, hey, let's write 20 letters to these parents and get it home. It's just, it could be reproducible by any coach, any front desk employee. It could be done by Trevor, anybody. Everybody's going to know what's going on. We'll all be on the same page. But that for us moving forward is our biggest rock of 2018. That's why it's number one. And we will have a locked in referral system. We've had referral competitions. We have some built-in referrals.
We have a lot of passive referrals, like built into our onboard and stuff like that.
But there's nothing permanent top to bottom. And after this weekend, there absolutely will be.
Well, I'll just give you a quick example. You know, when you think about referrals, you think about, you know, attracting qualified leads. You think about attracting people who already have a preconception, in a sense, of what you already do because their friend told you about it, like Dan said about the restaurant example. And so, you know, one thing that we do a really good job on as a referral program is our 6-week transformation. And, you know, that's 6 weeks of unlimited training, nutrition. It's a competition. It's one of our absolute best products. And if you are a current client here at Varsity House and you refer a friend, then your transformation is free. So the last 2 transformations, we had over 25 referrals. So 27, I think, and 29 respectively. And out of those 27 referrals, 12 of them signed up for full memberships. Now, that's a huge conversion. That's over 50% after paying. Those are the people that are coming in. Hey, my friend's been going to this gym for a year. They're already sold. So I want more of those people as opposed to somebody walking off the street who has no idea what we're doing, looks like a deer in the headlights, and may or may not wind up becoming a real good, you know, member or client here at the gym. So niching towards higher end services. So let's take the New Year, New You as an example. For years, we did a New Year, New You a front end offer. It was a low barrier,
21 days,
$100 for in-house members, $199 for out-of-house members. That included training sessions. It included a nutrition plan. It included monitoring and a nutrition seminar from a nutritionist, Simone. And we would get somewhere in the range of, let's just say, upwards of 30 people that would sign up. Some members, some off the street, new clients. But there was not a lot of private, personal interaction. And then Simone had to manage all these new people, and the coaches had to manage all these new people in classes. And I would say
signed up.
Very few of them signed up. Very low price. Very short period of time, so maybe not enough time to build the value and for them to see the actual training results that you can get in a couple weeks. And we just didn't have a great conversion rate. So, you know, again, after the Black Friday dumpster fire, we were like, we're not doing New Year either, you know, and we didn't want to hurt Simone because, you know, Simone, that's one of her products and she works really hard at it. And it wasn't that it was a bad product. It wasn't her at all. It was the value from the client's perspective and what they were getting. So we said, screw it, let's do this. Let's create an awesome, like, concierge product for our members only. You have to be a member here and
really build it out.
Really build it out, make it truly awesome. Like, redo the entire meal plan. She's got weekly meetings with everybody. She even did
continuity group.
We built an upsell, so there was a private training upsell, so you could do the detox diet. But if you wanted to train privately with Simone, you could upsell to that. Now with our food service, Fresh Prep, we're going to have another upsell there. You'll be able to upsell for meal delivery service and all these things built into one. We charge much more money, right? More than double the money. And it's sold out in less than 2 weeks. So we sold out all the private training. She only took so many people for the private training upsell, and we sold out the diet plan itself, the people on. And just because you bill it as a just for you type service, right? People really got hooked on it and they loved it, and the response has been made. She created a private Facebook group, and it was a lot more like, in a sense, from Simone. It's literally like these people are in her kitchen every day.
Right. But the program, without getting into the financials of it, the program took less people. Made more money, and Simone was able to make a larger impact with these people, so they're getting a much better and higher value service. So it's not like we're not niching down and charging more money for existing products. Like, we're niching down, and we need the time to over deliver on something that already existed.
So again, it goes back to, would you rather have 100 people paying $10 or 10 people paying $100? You know what I mean? I'll take the 10 people all day.
All day.
And so Simone got to work with less people in a more intimate setting, have a greater impact on them. And let's not forget the overall big picture. We are trying to sell a higher end product all the time here with Simone's nutritional programming. So she got to really give people a true and honest taste of what she does month after month with some of the clients who utilize her nutritional coaching services. And the likelihood that, you know, a few of those people are going to convert over to her private coaching group beyond this
100%.
are 100%. We're going to have, you know, I would say it's going to be a large percentage of these people who really, really love working with her. So it gave her, you know, a great jolt, you know, in a sense of ability. So that's one thing that we think. And then lastly, becoming the go-to destination, okay? We have always been an educational destination. I have always believed in education and teaching our coaches and the people that work here as much as I possibly know. I want it, you know, when Dan and I partnered up, I wanted to teach Dan everything I knew. When Mike came in, I sat with Mike for hours and hours and hours and taught Mike everything I knew about training from top to bottom, right? And my goal was that, you know, one day they would be equal or better than I ever could be. Right, so the same thing was true. This is why we do the Business of Strength. This is why we have an awesome internship program every summer. This is why I still teach at a state university here in New Jersey, and because I love giving back and educating people. So we're going to take that to the next level. We're doing in-sessions here all the time. We're educating ourselves and educating our coaches. But now we're just going to set up a really well-defined schedule. Each coach will be on a rotation. So let's just say like Dan, me, Adam, you know, Simone, Sean, Big Mike, whatever, on a rotation. And, you know, Dan's going to have 2 months or so out of the year. And it's like, all right, Dan, you're teaching this end session on this day and this end session on this day. And we're going to pick topics together as a group. And Dan's going to let it roll. Maybe it's, you know, power development for, you know, NFL combine athletes. And it's like everything we do for explosive power development and so forth. You know, maybe Big Mike is talking about building your deadlift. Maybe Simone is talking about, you know, range of motion and, you know, functional mobility for, you know, 40-plus females. You know, who knows, right? It could be anything. So we're going to pick a bunch of topics. Some of them we hope that you all like. We're going to film them. We're going to put them out there, and we're going to just start. We want people looking at us and saying, wow, that's what we need to be doing. And we want to help you all by giving you ideas and things like that. If you're not educating your staff all the time, again, you're not leading. You're not running a business. You're not creating leadership, and you're not creating a let's call it a center of excellence, as you know, as Ben Bergeron likes to say. And those are our key rocks for 2018. What else you got, Dan? I think that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're gonna also, I mean, talking to the Business of Strength community, we've been fielding some requests about one-to-one business coaching. We will. You know, in the next 6 to 8 weeks, we will be rolling out something special for people that are in need of something like that. But we could save that for the next podcast.
Yeah, I would say again, it just comes down to niching towards higher end services. The Business of Strength mentorships were kind of a shot in the dark that me and Dan really want to do and want to try. And we see that there's an enormous need there, and we see that people want more. So we're going to give you more, and we're going to have a level 2 coming at you. We're going to have a continuity program so people all over the world can go online and kind of join our services and products. And we're going to have some higher-end concierge type stuff. So if you want to come here for a few days to Varsity House and literally bring your crew and bring your specific needs and wants, and Dan, Trevor, and the gang here will literally sit down and, you know, build you out some of the products that you need created.
Build you up and break you down.
Build you up and, hey, self-actualization, baby. You got to be able to look in the mirror and admit your faults before you can move forward. So that's it for 2018. Get out there, create greatness. You know, get a meeting schedule going, set your rocks, set your VTO, right? Lead, you know, be the leader in your crew. And you know, I always say, you know, although sometimes people talk to me about, you know, meetings are annoying, you can never have too many as long as you're conveying the appropriate message and you're moving the needle forward and getting stuff done. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening. Let's kick off 2018. Awesome. And please, if you could, go to iTunes and give us a 5-star review. It means a world to us. So see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
The Business of Strength, powered by Varsity House Gym. Turn your passion into your profession and learn how to run a world-class business. Be sure to visit us at www.strengthentrepreneurs.com to learn more. And as always, at varsityhousegym.com. Become unstoppable.